Okay. We shall continue. The Upanishads? I don't know how to pronounce it. Let's see this. You talking about Cinderella here? Kathy? You talking about Kathy? Oh, excuse me. See, I've never read about it. I don't know anything about it. All I saw was in the news they were fighting. I don't know anything about Hindu. Here we are. They're pretty spot on, like I said, with the movements and the motions, and the they're very gracious with the compliments. I mean, I am good though. Don't get me wrong. Good teamwork going on right now. Everybody's playing good. It's good. It's good games. What else do I have to say? I'm good. I know I'm good. That's why I'm getting mad. Magic, you're up to something. You're shiesty. You're playing hate, and I know it. You're playing like preloaded hate. You know what I mean? Tron. You have an edge over others. But anyway, Halo, I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. I know the motions. I know how to cut them off. I know how to fight, boys. That's what I'm saying, ladies. I know how to fight. It looked like the CEO of YouTube, I believe. To be honest, I won't name names. If I am correct, I don't know if it's changed. That's a little too new. I want old. If it's old, I'll know. You know what I mean? By sages, many of whom belong to the Brahmin class. The Brahma. They were mentioned in the Bible, I believe. Or the Quran. I'll have to do that on a later date. I don't have that pre-recorded. So, maybe I'll just jump in. I don't know. I have options in today's world. So I will let the gracious woman continue.
Rises or falls in its wanderings under the impulse of two contrary powers. Prajapati answered, there is indeed the other soul composed of the elements of the body, the Bhutatman, who is bound by the light or darkness, which follow works, and who, born again from good and evil, rises or falls in its wanderings under the impulse of two contrary powers. And this is the explanation. There are 5 subtle elements, tan matras, and these are called elements. There are also 5 gross elements, mahabhutas, and these are also called elements. The union of these is called the human body. The human soul rules the body, but the immortal spiritual soul is pure like a drop of water on a lotus leaf. The human soul is under the power of the 3 constituents and conditions of nature, and thus it falls into confusion. Because of this confusion, the soul cannot become conscious of the God who dwells within, and whose power gives us power to work. The soul is thus whirled along the rushing stream of muddy waters of the 3 conditions of nature, and becomes unsteady and wavering, filled with confusion and full of desires, lacking concentration and disturbed with pride. Whenever the soul has thoughts of I and mine, it binds itself with its lower self, as a bird with the net of a snare. Brahman is. Thus says the seer of Brahman. Brahman is the door. Thus speaks the man of austere harmony, whose sins have been washed away. Om is the glory of Brahman, says the man of contemplation, forever thinking on Brahman. It is therefore by vision, by harmony, and by contemplation that Brahman is attained. In the beginning all was Brahman, one and infinite. He is beyond north and south, and east and west, and beyond what is above or below. His infinity is everywhere. In him there is neither above, nor across, nor below, and in him there is neither east nor west. The Spirit Supreme is immeasurable, inapprehensible, beyond conception, never born, beyond reasoning, beyond thought. His vastness is the vastness of space. At the end of the world all things sleep. He alone is awake in eternity. Then from his infinite space new worlds arise and awake, a universe which is a vastness of thought. In the consciousness of Brahman the universe is, and into him it returns. He is seen in the radiance of the sun in the sky, in the brightness of fire on earth, and in the fire of life that burns the food of life. Therefore it has been said, he who is in the sun, and in the fire, and in the heart of man, is one. He who knows this is one with the one. When a wise man has withdrawn his mind from all things without, and when his spirit of life has peacefully left inner sensations, let him rest in peace, free from the movements of will and desire. Since the living being called the Spirit of Life has come from that which is greater than the Spirit of Life, let the Spirit of Life surrender itself unto what is called Turiya, the fourth condition of consciousness. For it has been said, there is something beyond our mind which abides in silence within our mind. It is the supreme mystery beyond thought. Let one's mind and one's subtle body rest upon that, and not rest on anything else. There are two ways of Brahman, in sound and in silence. By sound we go to silence. The sound of Brahman is Om. With Om we go to the end, the silence of Brahman. The end is immortality, union and peace. Even as a spider reaches the liberty of space by means of its own thread, the man of contemplation, by means of Om, reaches freedom. The sound of Brahman is Om. At the end of Om there is silence. It is a silence of joy. It is the end of the journey where fear and sorrow are no more, steady, motionless, never falling, everlasting, immortal. It is called the omnipresent Vishnu. In order to reach the highest, consider in adoration the sound and the silence of Brahman. For it has been said, God is sound and silence. His name is Om. Attain therefore contemplation. Contemplation in silence on him. Even as fire without fuel finds peace in its resting place, when thoughts become silence, the soul finds peace in its own source. And when a mind which longs for truth finds the peace of its own source, then those false inclinations cease, which were the result of former actions done in the delusion of the senses. Samsara, the transmigration of life, takes place in one's own mind. Let one therefore keep the mind pure, for what a man thinks, that he becomes. This is a mystery of eternity. A quietness of mind overcomes good and evil works, and in quietness the soul is one. Then one feels the joy of eternity. If men thought of God as much as they think of the world, who would not attain liberation? The mind of man is of two kinds, pure and impure. Impure when in the bondage of desire, pure when free from desire. When the mind is silent, beyond weakness or non-concentration, then it can enter into a world which is far beyond the mind, the highest end. The mind should be kept in the heart as long as it has not reached the highest end. This is wisdom, and this is liberation. Everything else is only words. Words cannot describe the joy of the soul whose impurities are cleansed in deep contemplation, who is one with his Atman, his own spirit. Only those who feel this joy know what it is. Even as water becomes one with water, fire with fire, and air with air, so the mind becomes one with the infinite mind, and thus attains final freedom. Mind is indeed the source of bondage, and also the source of liberation. To be bound to things of this world, this is bondage. To be free from them, this is liberation. Glory be unto Agni, the god of fire, who dwells in the earth, who remembers the world. Give this world to him who adores thee. Glory be unto Vayu, the god of the wind, who dwells in the air, who remembers this world. Give this world to him who adores thee. Glory be unto Aditya, the god of the sun, who dwells in the sky, who remembers this world. Give this world to him who adores thee.
Bomb taken.
From the Kaushitaki Upanishad. When a man is speaking, he cannot be breathing. This is the sacrifice of breath to speech. And when a man is breathing, he cannot be speaking. This is the sacrifice of speech to breath. These are the two never-ending immortal offerings of man, whether he is awake or whether he is asleep.
I'm awake. I'm here.
These are the three adorations of the all-conquering Kaushitaki. At the rising of the sun, he said, "You who give liberty, make me free from my sins." When the sun was midway in heaven, he said, "You who are on high and give liberty, set me on high and make me free from my sins." At the hour of sunset, he uttered this prayer, "You who give full liberty, make me fully free from my sins." When the fire burns, Brahman shines, and when the fire dies, Brahman goes. Its light goes to the sun, and its breath of life to the wind. When the sun shines, Brahman shines, and when the sun sets, Brahman goes. Its light goes to the moon, and its breath of life to the wind. When the moon shines, Brahman shines, and when the moon sets, Brahman goes. Its light goes to a flash of lightning, and its breath of life to the wind. When a flash of lightning shines, Brahman shines, and when it goes, Brahman goes. Its light goes to the regions of heaven, and its breath of life to the wind. Pratadana, the son of Devadasa, fought the inner fight with all his soul, and thus he reached the house of Indra, the house of the love of God. Indra said to him, Pratadana, ask for a gift. To this Pratadana replied, I ask for that gift which you think is best for mankind. A master imposes not a gift upon his pupil, said Indra. Ask for any gift you like. I shall then not have a gift, said Pratadana. But Indra left not the path of truth, for God is truth. He thus said to Pratadana, Know me, for this is the best for man, to know God. Then Indra spoke, I am the breath of life, and I am the consciousness of life. Adore me and think of me as life and immortality. The breath of life is one. When we speak, life speaks. When we see, life sees. When we hear, life hears. When we think, life thinks. When we breathe, life breathes. And there is something greater than the breath of life, for one can live without speech. We can see the dumb. One can live without sight. We can see the blind. One can live without hearing. We can see the deaf. One can live without a right mind. We can see those who are mad. But it is the consciousness of life which becomes the breath of life and gives life to a body. The breath of life is the consciousness of life, and the consciousness of life is the breath of life. When consciousness rules speech, with speech we can speak all words. When consciousness rules breath, with in-breath we can smell all perfumes. When consciousness rules the eye, with the eye we can see all forms. When consciousness rules the ear, with the ear we can hear all sounds. When consciousness rules the tongue, with the tongue we can savour all tastes. When consciousness rules the mind, with the mind we can think all thoughts. It is not speech which we should want to know. We should know the speaker. It is not things seen which we should want to know. We should know the seer. It is not sound which we should want to know. We should know the hearer. It is not mind which we should want to know. We should know the thinker. From the Taittiriya Upanishad. I will speak words of truth, and the words of the divine law shall be on my lips. Master and disciple, may the light of sacred knowledge illumine us, and may we attain the glory of wisdom. O Lord, let me come unto thee, and come thou unto me. O Lord, in thy waters, O my Lord, may I wash my sins away. What is needful? righteousness and sacred learning and teaching, truth and sacred learning and teaching, meditation and sacred learning and teaching, self-control and sacred learning and teaching, peace and sacred learning and teaching, ritual and sacred learning and teaching, humanity and sacred learning and teaching.
Camo.
Satyavakas, the truthful, says, truth. Taponitya, the austere, says, austerity. But Naka, who is beyond pain, says, learning and teaching, for they are austerity, for they are austerity. He who knows Brahman, who is truth, consciousness, and infinite joy, hidden in the inmost of our soul and in the highest heaven, enjoys all things he desires in communion with the all-knowing Brahman. From Atman, Brahman, in the beginning came space. From space came air, from air fire, from fire water. From water came solid earth, from earth came living plants. From plants food and seed, and from seed and food came a living being, man. Who denies God denies himself. Who affirms God affirms himself. Joy comes from God. Who could live and who could breathe if the joy of Brahman filled not the universe? If a man places a gulf between himself and God, this gulf will bring fear. But if a man finds the support of the invisible and ineffable, he is free from fear. Words and mind go to him, but reach him not and return. But he who knows the joys of Brahman fears no more. Once, Bhrigu Varuni went to his father Varuna and said, "Father, explain to me the mystery of Brahman." Then his father spoke to him of the food of the earth, of the breath of life, of the one who sees, of the one who hears, of the mind that knows, and of the one who speaks. And he further said to him, "Seek to know him from whom all beings have come, by whom they all live, and unto whom they all return. He is Brahman." So Bhrigu went and practiced tapas, spiritual prayer. Then he thought that Brahman was food of the earth, for from the earth all beings have come. By food of the earth they all live, and they all return. After this he went again to his father Varuna and said, "Father, explain further to me the mystery of Brahman." To him his father answered, "Seek to know Brahman by tapas, by prayer, because Brahman is prayer." So Bhrigu went and practiced tapas, spiritual prayer. Then he thought that Brahman was life, for from life all beings have come. By life they all live, and unto life they all return. After this he went again to his father Varuna and said, "Father, explain further to me the mystery of Brahman." To him his father answered, "Seek to know Brahman by tapas, by prayer, because Brahman is prayer." So Bhrigu went and practiced tapas, spiritual prayer. Then he thought that Brahman was mind, and from mind all beings have come, by mind they all live, and unto mind they all return. After this he went again to his father Varuna and said, "Father, explain further to me the mystery of Brahman." To him his father answered, "Seek to know Brahman by tapas, by prayer, because Brahman is prayer." So Bhrigu went and practiced tapas, spiritual prayer. Then he thought that Brahman was reason, for from reason all beings have come. By reason they all live, and unto reason they all return. He went again to his father, asked the same question, and received the same answer. So Bhrigu went and practiced tapas, spiritual prayer. And then he saw that Brahman is joy. For from joy all beings have come. By joy they all live, and unto joy they all return. This was the vision of Bhrigu Varuni, which came from the highest, and he who sees this vision lives in the highest. Oh, the wonder of joy! I am the food of life, and I am he who eats the food of life. I am the two in one. I am the firstborn of the world of truth, born before the gods, born in the centre of immortality. He who gives me is my salvation. I am that food which eats the eater of the food. I have gone beyond the universe, and the light of the sun is my light. From the Chandogya Upanishad. Wherefrom do all these worlds come? They come from space. All beings arise from space, and into space they return. Space is indeed their beginning, and space is their final end. Prajapati, the creator of all, rested in life-giving meditation over the worlds of his creation, and from them came the three Vedas. He rested in meditation, and from those came the three sounds, Bhur, Bhuvas, Svar, earth, air and sky. He rested in meditation, and from the three sounds came the sound Om.
Enemy team scored.
Even as all leaves come from a stem, all words came from the sound Om. Om is the whole universe. Om is in truth the whole universe.
Hello.
Great is the Gayatri, the most sacred verse of the Vedas. But how much greater is the infinity of Brahman? A quarter of his being is this whole vast universe. The other 3/4 are his heaven of immortality. There is a light that shines beyond all things on earth, beyond us, beyond the heavens, beyond the highest, beyond the very highest heavens. This is the light that shines in our heart. All this universe is in truth Brahman. He is the beginning and end and life of all. As such, in silence, give unto him adoration. Man in truth is made of faith. As his faith is in this life, so he becomes in the beyond. With faith and vision let there is a spirit that is mind and life, light and truth and vast spaces. He contains all works and desires, and all perfumes and all tastes. He enfolds the whole universe, and in silence is loving to all. This is the spirit that is in my heart, smaller than a grain of rice, or a grain of barley, or a grain of mustard seed, or a grain of canary seed, or the kernel of a grain of canary seed. This is the spirit that is in my heart, greater than the earth, greater than the sky, greater than heaven itself, greater than all these worlds. He contains all works and desires and all perfumes and all tastes. He enfolds the whole universe, and in silence is loving to all. This is the spirit that is in my heart. This is Brahman.
Victory.
To him I shall come when I go beyond this life, and to him will come he who has faith and doubts not.
Bro, man.
Thus said Sandilya. Thus said Sandilya. I go to the imperishable treasure, by his grace, by his grace, by his grace. I go to the spirit of life, by his grace, by his grace, by his grace. I go to the spirit of the earth, by his grace, by his grace, by his grace. I go to the spirit of the air, by his grace, by his grace, by his grace. I go to the spirit of the heavens, by his grace, by his grace, by his grace. A man is a living sacrifice.
Excuse me. Go to the next chapter here. I'll read this for you. The chapter about the mind. An agitated, unsteady mind Siddhavarga. Sit down. It's telling me to sit down. An agitated, unsteady mind, difficult to guard, difficult to ward. Sagacious one makes straight as a fletcher does his arrows. Like a fish thrown up on dry land, pulled out from its watery home, the mind is agitated. One ought to throw off the sway of Mara. Those who will restrain the mind that roams far is lonesome, without a body hidden, gain release from bonds of Mara. For the mind that is difficult to subdue, flighty, flitting wherever it will, restraint is good. A restrained mind brings happiness. Hard to see, very subtle, flitting wherever it will, the sage should guard the mind, for guarded it brings happiness. For the one with mind that is not dependent, for the one with mind unperplexed, having abandoned wholesome and demerit, for the watchful there is no fear. The one who drinks the tasty Dhamma drink with a clear mind, the wise one will always delight in the Dhamma that is made known by the noble. Before long has passed by, alas, this body will lie on the ground, rejected without consciousness, just like a useless piece of wood. Knowing this body is fair like a jar, govern the mind like a fortress, one should fight Mara with a weapon of wisdom, guard your success, and do not be attached. Just as the rain penetrates a house with thatching that is poor, so passion penetrates the mind that is undeveloped. Just as rain does not penetrate a house with thatching that is good, so passion cannot penetrate a mind that is well developed. Just as the rain penetrates a house with thatching that is poor, so hatred penetrates a mind that is undeveloped. Just as rain does not penetrate a house with thatching that is good, so hatred cannot penetrate a mind that is well developed. Just as the rain penetrates a house with thatching that is poor, so delusion penetrates a mind that is undeveloped. Just as rain does not penetrate a house with thatching that is good, so delusion cannot penetrate a mind that is well developed. The non-doing of anything wicked, undertaking of what is good, the training of one's mind, this is the teaching of the Buddhas.
The first 24 years of his life are the morning offering of the Soma wine, because the holy Gayatri has 24 sounds, and the chanting of the Gayatri is heard in the morning offering. The Vasus,
Where am I at? Chapter 26, Proverbs. Who we got? Doesn't really make sense.
King of the Hill.
Chapter 26. As snow in summer and as rain in harvest, so honor is not seemly for a fool. As the bird by wandering, as the swallow by flying, so the curse causeless shall not come. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the ass, and a rod for the fool's back. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou also be like unto him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. He that sendeth a message by the hand of a fool cutteth off the feet, and drinketh damage. The legs of the lame are not equal, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. As he that bindeth a stone in a sling, so is he that giveth honor to a fool. As a thorn goeth up into the hand of a drunkard, so is a parable into the mouth of fools. The great God that formed all things both rewardeth the fool and rewardeth transgressors. As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. Seest thou a man wise in his own deceit? There is more hope of a fool than of him. The slothful man saith, There is a lion in the way, a lion is in the streets. As the door turneth upon his hinges, so doth the slothful upon his bed. The slothful hideth his hand in his bosom, it grieveth him to bring it again to his mouth. The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. He that passeth by and meddleth with strife belongeth not to him, is like one that taketh a dog by the ears. As a madman who casteth firebrands, arrows, and death, so is the man that deceiveth his neighbor, and saith, Am not I in sport? Where no wood is, there the fire goeth out. So where there is no talebearer, the strife ceaseth. As coals are to burning coals, and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered with silver dross. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be shewed before the whole congregation. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. Chapter 27. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, the stranger, and not thine own lips. The stone is heavy, and the sand weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than them both. Wrath is cruel, and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? Open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. The full soul loatheth an honeycomb, but to the hungry soul every bitter thing is sweet. As a bird that wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place. Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart, so doth the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. Thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not, neither go into thy brother's house in the day of thy calamity, for better is a neighbor that is near than a brother far off. My son, be wise, and make my heart glad, that I may answer him that reproacheth me. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and take a pledge of him for a strange woman. He that blesseth his friend with a loud voice rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to you. A continual dropping in a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Whosoever hideth her hideth the wind, and the ointment of his right hand which bewrayeth itself. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Whoso keepeth the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof, so he that waiteth on his master shall be honored. As in water face answereth to face, so the heart of man to man. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. As the fining pot for silver and the furnace for gold, so is a man to his praise. Though thou shouldest bray a fool in a mortar among wheat with a pestle, yet will not his foolishness depart from him. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation? The hay appeareth, and the tender grass showeth itself, and herbs of the mountains are gathered. The lambs are for thy clothing, and the goats are the price of the field. And thou shalt have goats' milk enough for thy food, for the food of thy household, and for the maintenance of thy maidens. Chapter 28. The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion. For the transgression of a land many are the princes thereof, but by a man of understanding and knowledge the state thereof shall be prolonged. A poor man that oppresseth the poor is like a sweeping rain which leaveth no food. They that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. Evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things. Better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness, than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Whoso keepeth the law is a wise son, but he that is a companion of riotous men shameth his father. He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be abomination. Whoso causeth the righteous to go astray in an evil way, he shall fall himself into his own pit, but the upright shall have good things in possession. The rich man is wise in his own conceit, but the poor that hath understanding searcheth him out. When righteous men do rejoice, there is great glory, but when the wicked rise, a man is hidden. He that covereth his sins shall not prosper, but whoso confesseth and forsaketh them shall have mercy. Happy is the man that feareth alway, but he that hardeneth his heart shall fall into mischief. As a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over the poor people. The prince that wanteth understanding is also a great oppressor, but he that hateth covetousness shall prolong his days. A man that doeth violence to the blood of any person shall flee to the pit. Let no man stay him. Whoso walketh uprightly shall be saved, but he that is perverse in his ways shall fall at once. He that tilleth his land shall have plenty of bread, but he that followeth after vain persons shall have poverty enough. A faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent. To have respect of persons is not good, for a piece of bread that man will transgress. He that hasteth to be rich hath an evil eye, and considereth not that poverty shall come upon him. He that rebuketh a man afterward shall find more favor than he that flattereth with the tongue. Whoso robbeth his father or his mother, and saith, It is no transgression, the same is the companion of a destroyer. He that is of a proud heart stirreth up strife, but he that putteth his trust in the Lord shall be made fat. He that trusteth in his own heart is a fool, but whoso walketh wisely, he shall be delivered. He that giveth unto the poor shall not lack, but he that hideth his eyes shall have many a curse. When the wicked rise, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. Chapter 29. He that being often reproved hardened his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Whoso loveth wisdom rejoiceth his father, but he that keepeth company with harlots spendeth his substance. The king by judgment establisheth the land, but he that receiveth gifts overthroweth it. A man that flattereth his neighbor spreadeth a net for his feet. In the transgression of an evil man there is a snare, but the righteous doth sing and rejoice. The righteous considereth the cause of the poor, but the wicked regardeth not to know it. Scornful men bring a city into a snare, but wise men turn away wrath. If a wise man contendeth with a foolish man, whether he rage or laugh, there is no rest. The bloodthirsty hate the upright, but the just seek his soul. A fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards. If the ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked. The poor and the deceitful man meet together, the Lord lighteneth both their eyes. The king that faithfully judgeth the poor, his throne shall be established forever. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall. Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest. Yea, he shall give delight unto thy soul. Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. A servant will not be corrected by words, for though he understand, he will not answer. Seest thou a man that is hasty in his words? There is more hope of a fool than of him. He that delicately bringeth up his servant from a child shall have him become his son at the length. An angry man stirreth up strife, and a furious man aboundeth in transgression. A man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall uphold the humble in spirit. Whoso is partner with a thief hateth his own soul. He beareth cursing, and bewrayeth it not. The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe. Many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment cometh from the Lord. An unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. Chapter 30. The words of Agur the son of Jacob, even the prophecy, the man spake unto Ithiel, even unto Ithiel and Ukal. Surely I am more brutish than any man, and have not the understanding of a man. I neither learned wisdom, nor have the knowledge of the holy. Who hath ascended up into heaven, or descended? Who hath gathered the wind in his fists? Who hath bound the waters in a garment? Who hath established all the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? Every word of God is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. 2 things have I required of thee, deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. Lest I be full and deny thee, and say, Who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor, and steal, and take the name of my God in vain. Accuse not a servant unto his master, lest he curse thee, and thou be found guilty. There is a generation that curseth their father, and doth not bless their mother. There is a generation that are pure in their own eyes, and yet is not washed from their filthiness. There is a generation, O how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. There is a generation whose teeth are as swords, and their jaw teeth as knives, to devour the poor from off the earth, and the needy from among men. The horseleech hath 2 daughters, crying, Give, give. There are 3 things that are never satisfied, yea, 4 things say not, It is enough. The grave, and the barren womb, the earth that is not filled with water, and the fire that saith not, It is enough.
It is enough. Okay. the fire and the water as we move through the land. I'm starting to learn here. Let's take a 5-minute break, though. I think we need a break. Hold on. Tron. Yeah, I was gonna post Tron.
The gods of the earth rule this offering. If a man should be ill during that time, he should pray, with the help of the Vasus, the powers of my life, may my morning offering last until my midday offering, and may not my sacrifice perish whilst the Vasus are the powers of my life. The next 44 years of his life are the midday offering of the Soma wine, because the holy Trishtuba has 44 sounds, and the chanting of the Trishtuba is heard with the midday offering. The Rudras, the gods of the air, rule this offering. If a man should be ill during that time, he should pray, with the help of the Rudras, the powers of my life, may my midday offering last until my evening offering, and may not my sacrifice perish whilst the Rudras are the powers of my life. The next 48 years of his life are the evening offering, because the holy Jagati has 48 sounds, and the chanting of the Jagati is heard with the evening offering. The Adityas, the gods of light, rule this offering. If a man should be ill during that time, he should pray, with the help of the Adityas, the powers of my life, let my evening offering last until the end of a long life, and may not my sacrifice perish whilst the Adityas are the powers of my life. Mahidasa, Aitareva, knew this when he used to say, why should I suffer an illness when I am not going to die? And he lived 116 years. We should consider that in the inner world Brahman is consciousness, and we should consider that in the outer world Brahman is space. These are the two meditations. Once Satyakama went to his mother and said, Mother, I wish to enter upon the life of a religious student. Of what family am I? To him she answered, I do not know, my child, of what family thou art. In my youth I was poor, and served as a maid many masters, and then I had thee. I therefore do not know of what family thou art. My name is Jabala, and thy name is Satyakama. Thou mayst call thyself Satyakama Jabala. The boy went to the master, Haridrumata Gautama, and said, I want to become a student of sacred wisdom. May I come to you, master? To him the master asked, What family art thou, my son? I do not know of what family I am, answered Satyakama. I asked my mother, and she said, I do not know, my child, of what family thou art. In my youth I was poor, and served as a maid many masters, and then I had thee. I therefore do not know of what family thou art. My name is Jabala, and thy name is Satyakama. I am therefore Satyakama Jabala, master. To him Master Gautama said, Thou art a Brahman, since thou hast not gone away from truth. Come, my son, I will take thee as a student. Om. There lived once a boy, Svetaketu Aruneya by name. One day his father spoke to him in this way.
Dummies.
Svetaketu, go and become a student of sacred wisdom. There is no one in our family who has not studied the holy Vedas, and who might only be given the name of Brahman by courtesy. The boy left at the age of 12, and having learnt the Vedas, he returned home at the age of 24, very proud of his learning, and having a great opinion of himself.
We have them all.
His father, observing this, said to him, Svetaketu, my boy, you seem to have a great opinion of yourself. You think you are learned, and you are very proud. Have you asked for that knowledge whereby what is not heard is heard, what is not thought is thought, and what is not known is known? What is that knowledge, father? Asked Svetaketu. Just as by knowing a lump of clay, my son, all that is clay can be known, since any differences are only words, and the reality is clay. just as by knowing a piece of gold that all is gold can be known, since any differences are only words and the reality is only gold. And just as by knowing a piece of iron all that is iron is known, since any differences are only words and the reality is only iron.
Ball dropped.
Sveta said, "Certainly my honoured masters knew not this themselves. If they had known, why would they not have told me?
Ball dropped.
Explain this to me, Father." "So be it, my child.
Enemy has the ball.
Bring me a fruit from this banyan tree." "Here it is, Father." "Break it." "It is broken, sir." "What do you see in it?" "Very small seeds, sir." "Break one of them, my son." "It is broken, sir." "What do you see in it?" "Nothing at all, sir." Then his father spoke to him. "My son, from the very essence in the seed which you cannot see, comes in truth this vast banyan tree. Believe me, my son, an invisible and subtle essence is the spirit of the whole universe. That is reality. That is Atman.
Enemy has the
Thou art that. "Explain more to me, Father," says Sveta.
He's hurting right there.
"So be
enemy
it, my
has the weight
son.
of victory.
Place this salt in water and come to me tomorrow morning." Sveta did as he was commanded, and in the morning his father said to him, "Bring me the salt you put into the water last night."
Enemy has the ball.
Sveta looked into the water, but he could not find it, for it had dissolved. His father then said,
Ball dropped.
"Taste the water from this side.
We have
How
the
is
ball.
it?" "It is salt." "Taste it from the middle. How is it?" "It is
My
salt."
tongue, I can feel it.
"Taste it from that side. How is it?" "It is salt."
Ball
"Look for the salt again and come again to me."
enemy has the ball.
The son did so, saying, "I cannot see the salt, I only see water." His father then said, "In the same way, O my son, you cannot see the spirit, but in truth he is here. An indivisible and subtle essence is the spirit of the whole universe. That is reality, that is truth. Thou art that.
Ball dropped.
Explain more to me, Father." "So be it, my son." Even as a man, O my son, who had been led blindfolded from his land of the Gandharas, and then left in a desert place, might wander to the east and north and south, he had been taken blindfolded, and left in an unknown place. But if a good man took off his bandage and told him,
Enemy has the
"In
ball.
that direction is the land of the Gandharas, go in that direction,"
Enemy team nearing victory.
then if he were a wise man, he would go asking from village to village, until he would have reached this land of the Gandharas. So it happens in this world to a man who has a master to direct him to the land of the spirit. Such a man can say, "I shall wander in this world until I attain liberation, but then I shall go and reach my home." This invisible and subtle essence is the spirit of the whole universe. That is reality. That is truth. Thou art that. Is there anything higher than thought? Meditation is in truth higher than thought. The earth seems to rest in silent meditation, and the waters and the mountains and the sky and the heavens seem all to be in meditation.
Round 1.
Whenever a man attains greatness on this earth, he has his reward according to his meditation. When a man speaks words of truth, he speaks words of greatness. Know the nature of truth. When a man knows, he can speak truth. He who does not know cannot speak truth. Know the nature of knowledge. When a man thinks, then he can know.
Ball
He who does not think does not know. Know the nature of thought.
Ball dropped. Enemy has
When a man has faith, then he thinks. He who has not faith does not
double
think.
kill.
Know the nature of faith. When there is progress, one sees and has faith. Where there is no progress, there is no faith. Know the nature of progress. Where there is creation, there is
Two more
progress.
coming down.
Where there is no creation, there is no progress.
Enemy has
Know the nature of creation.
we have the
Where there is joy, there is creation. Where there is no joy, there is no creation. Know the nature of joy. Where there is the infinite, there is joy. There is no joy in the finite. Only in the infinite there is joy. Know the nature of the infinite.
double kill.
Where nothing else is seen or heard or known, there is the infinite. Where something else is seen or heard or known, there is the finite. The infinite is immortal, but the finite is mortal. Where does the infinite rest? On his own greatness, or not even on his own greatness.
Ball dropped.
In this world they call the greatness of possession of cattle and horses, elephants and gold, servants and wives, lands and houses, but I do not call this greatness, for here one thing depends upon another.
Enemy has
But the infinite is above and below, north and south and east and west. The infinite is the whole universe.
killing spree.
I am above and
All
below,
bound.
north and south and east and west. I am the whole universe.
Enemy has
Atman is above and below, north and south and east and west. Atman is the whole universe. He who sees knows, and understands this. Who finds in Atman the spirit, his love and his pleasure and his union and his joy, becomes a master of himself. His freedom then is infinite. But those who see not this become the servants of other masters, and in the worlds that pass away attain not their liberation. Om. In the centre of the castle of Brahman, our own body, there is a small shrine in the form of a lotus flower, and within can be found a small space. We should find who dwells there, and we should want to know him.
ball dropped.
And if anyone asks, who is he who dwells in a small shrine in the form of a lotus flower in the centre of the castle of Brahman?
Way to victory.
Whom should we want to find and to know? We can answer. A little space within the heart is as great as this vast universe. The heavens and the earth are there, and the sun and the moon and the stars. Fire and lightning and winds are there, and all that now
Enemy
is,
has the ball.
and all that is not. For the whole universe is in him, and he dwells within our heart. And if they should say, if all things are in the castle of Brahman, all being desires, what remains when old age overcomes the castle, or when the life of the body is gone? We can answer, the spirit who is in the body does not grow old and does not die, and no one can ever kill the spirit who is everlasting. This is the real castle of Brahman, wherein dwells all the love of the universe. It is Atman, pure spirit, beyond sorrow, old age and
Ball
death,
dropped.
beyond evil and hunger and thirst. It is Atman whose love is truth, whose thoughts are truth. Even as here on earth the attendants of a king obey their king, and are with him wherever he is, and go with him wherever he goes, so all love which is truth, and all thoughts of truth, obey the Atman, the spirit. And even as here on earth all work done in time ends in time, so in the worlds to come even the good works of the past pass away. Therefore those who leave this world, and have not found their soul, and that love which is truth, find not their freedom in other worlds. But those who leave this world and have found their soul, and that love which is truth, for them there is the liberty of the spirit, in this world and in the world to come. There is a bridge between time and eternity, and this bridge is Atman, the spirit of man. Neither day nor night cross that bridge, nor old age, nor death, nor sorrow. Evil or sin cannot cross that bridge, because the world of the spirit is pure. This is why, when this bridge has been crossed, the eyes of the blind can see, the wounds of the wounded are healed, and the sick man becomes whole from his sickness. To one who goes over that bridge, the night becomes like unto day, because in the worlds of the spirit there is a light which is everlasting. There is a spirit which is pure, and which is beyond old age and death, and beyond hunger and thirst and sorrow. This is Atman, the spirit in man. All the desires of this spirit are truth. It is this spirit that we must find and know. Man must find his own soul. He who has found and knows his soul has found all the worlds, has achieved all his desires. Thus spoke Prajapati. The gods and the devils heard these words, and they said, "Come, let us go and find the Atman. Let us find the soul, so that we may obtain all our desires." Then Indra amongst the gods, and Virokahana amongst the devils, went without telling each other to see Prajapati, carrying fuel in their hands as a sign that they wanted to be his pupils. And so for 32 years they both lived with Prajapati the life of religious students. At the end of that time, Prajapati asked them, "Why have you been living the life of religious students?" Indra and Virokahana answered, "People say that you know the Atman, a spirit which is pure and which is beyond old age and death, and beyond hunger and thirst and sorrow. A spirit whose desires are truth, and whose thoughts are truth. And that you say that this spirit must be found and known, because when he is found, all the worlds are found, and all desires are obtained. This is why we have been living here as your pupils."
We do it all.
Prajapati said to them, "What do you see when you look into another person's eyes?
Been a while.
That is the Atman, immortal, beyond fear. That is Brahman." "And who is he whom we see when we look in water or in a mirror?" they asked. "The same is seen in all," he answered. And then he said to them, "Go and look at yourselves in a bowl of water, and ask me anything you want to know about the Atman, your own self." The two went and looked in a bowl of water. "What do you see?" asked Prajapati. "We see ourselves clearly from our hair down to our nails," they said. "Adorn yourselves and dress in clothes of beauty," said Prajapati, "and look at yourselves again in a bowl of water." They did so and looked again in the bowl of water. "What do you see?" asked Prajapati. "We see ourselves as we are," they answered, "adorned and dressed in clothes of beauty." "Is the immortal beyond all fear. This is Brahman," said Prajapati. Then they left with peace in their hearts. Prajapati looked at them and said, "They have seen, but they have not understood. They have not found the Atman, their soul. Anyone who holds their belief, be he god or devil, shall perish." Then Virokahana went to the devils full of self-satisfaction and gave them this teaching. "We ourselves are our own bodies, and those must be made happy on earth. It is our bodies that should be in glory, and it is for them that we should have servants. He who makes his body happy, who for his body has servants, he is well in this world and also in the world to come. That is why when here on earth a man will not give any gifts. When a man has no faith and will not sacrifice, people say, 'This man is a devil,' for this is in truth their devilish doctrine. They dress their dead bodies with fine garments and glorify them with perfumes and ornaments, thinking that thereby they will conquer the other world."
Enemy team scored.
But before Indra had returned to the gods, he saw the danger of this teaching, and he thought, "If our self, our Atman, is the body, and is dressed in clothes of beauty when the body is, and is covered with ornaments when the body is, then when the body is blind, the self is blind, and when the body is lame, the self
you can't
is
get louder,
lame.
dude.
And when the body
Exactly what's
dies,
going on.
our self dies.
Your team.
Quit lying.
I cannot find
What's the
any
problem
joy in this doctrine." He therefore went back to Prajapati with fuel in hand as a sign that he wanted to be his pupil. "Why have you returned, great Maghavan?" asked Prajapati. You went away with Virakahana with peace in your heart. Indra replied, even as the Atman, the self, our soul, is dressed in clothes of beauty when the body is, and is covered with ornament when the body is. When the body is blind, the self is blind, and when the body is lame, the self is lame, and when the body dies, the self dies. I cannot find any joy in this doctrine. It is even so, Maghavan, said Prajapati. I will teach you a higher doctrine. Live with me for another 32 years. Indra was with Prajapati for another 32 years, and then Prajapati said, the spirit that wanders in joy in the land of dreams, that is the Atman. That is the immortal beyond fear. That is Brahman. Then Indra left with peace in his heart. But before he had returned to the gods, he saw the danger of this teaching, and he thought, even if in dreams when the body is blind, the self is not blind, or when the body is lame and the self is not lame, and does not indeed suffer the limitations of the body, so that when the body is killed, the self is not killed, yet in dreams the self may seem to be killed and to suffer, and to feel much pain and weep. I cannot find any joy in this doctrine. He therefore went with fuel in hand back to Prajapati, who said to him, you left Maghavan with peace in your heart. Why have you returned? Indra replied, even if in dreams when the body is blind, the Atman is not blind, or when the body is lame, the Atman is not lame, and indeed does not suffer the limitations of the body, so that when the body is killed, the self is not killed, yet in dreams the self may seem to be killed and suffer, and to feel much pain and weep. I cannot find any joy in this doctrine. What you say is true, Maghavan, said Prajapati. I will teach you a higher doctrine. Live with me for another 32 years. Indra was with Prajapati another 32 years, and then Prajapati said, the spirit who is sleeping without dreams in the silent quietness of deep sleep, that is the Atman. That is the immortal beyond fear. That is Brahman. Then Indra left with peace in his heart. But before he had reached the gods, he saw the danger of this teaching, and he thought, if a man is in deep sleep without dreams, he cannot even say I am, and he cannot know anything. He in truth falls into nothingness. I cannot find any joy in this doctrine.
Middle, sniper.
And he went again to Prajapati with fuel in hand.
Ridge.
Why have you returned, Maghavan? You left with peace in your heart, asked Prajapati. Indra replied, if a man is in deep sleep without dreams, he cannot even say I am, and he cannot know anything.
What about doing another picture?
He in truth falls into nothingness. I cannot find any joy in this doctrine. What you say is true, Maghavan, said Prajapati. I will teach you a higher doctrine, the highest that can be taught. Live with me now for 5 years. And Indra lived with Prajapati for 5 years. He lived with Prajapati a total of years 101. This is why people say, great Indra lived with Prajapati the life of chastity, of a Brahmaraya, spiritual student, for 131 years. Prajapati then spoke to Indra. It is true that the body is mortal, that it is under the power of death, but it is also the dwelling of Atman, the spirit of immortal life. The body, the house of the spirit, is under the power of pleasure and pain, and if a man is ruled by his body, then this man can never be free. But when a man is in the joy of the spirit, in the spirit which is ever free, then this man is free from all bondage, the bondage of pleasure and pain. The wind has not a body, nor lightning, nor thunder, nor clouds. But when those rise into the higher spheres, then they find their body of light. In the same way, when the soul is in silent quietness, it arises and leaves the body, and reaching the Spirit Supreme, finds there its body of light. It is the land of infinite liberty where, beyond its mortal body, the spirit of man is free. There can he laugh and sing of his glory with ethereal women and friends. He enjoys ethereal chariots and forgets the cart of his body on earth. For as a beast is attached to a cart, so on earth the soul is attached to a body. Know that when the eye looks into space, it is the spirit of man that sees. The eye is the only organ of sight. When one says, I feel this perfume, it is the spirit that feels. He uses the organ of smell. When one says, I am speaking, it is the spirit that speaks. The voice is the organ of speech. When one says, I am hearing, it is the spirit that hears. The ear is the organ of hearing. And when one says, I think, it is the spirit that thinks. The mind is the organ of thought. It is because of the light of the spirit that the human mind can see and can think and enjoy this world. All the gods in the heaven of Brahman adore in contemplation their infinite spirit supreme. This is why they have all joy, and all the worlds and all desires.
Your team scored.
And the man who on this earth finds and knows Atman, his own self, has all his holy desires, and all the worlds, and all joy. Thus spoke Prajapati. Thus in truth spoke Prajapati.
Enemy team scored.
I'll stop it right there. Take a break. Switch it up. One with the universe. They try to the harmony there, in tune, the chant. I'm sure. If it wasn't in English, if you could speak all the languages, it would probably fit a little bit better. But I mean, English, I guess would be the primary.
Enemy team nearing victory. Your team scored.
Getting tired.
Perfect.
Target spotted.
I walked right into that, I guess. I didn't hear it. I don't know anything about Hindu. All the gods and stuff, I don't know anything. Shiva, that's it. I don't even know anything about her. Him. See how this deck goes. This should be fun. Do a different book or something.
gained the lead.
Is that a comeback, dude?
Enemy team score. Lost the lead.
Yep.
Defeat.
The Bible, I'm going to do my own on that. I don't like doing the audiobooks.